Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from group 1. Today in this video we will share our discussion about electrical signal in neurons from human anatomy and physiology. So in this group there are 3 members. There is Alvyna, Kartika, Khairunisa, Aulia, Alfani, Zikriah, and the last is Farah, Hafizha, Nisa. So let's start to our discussion.
First, I want to explain about the relationship between ions and nervous system activities in normal function. The electrical events that constitute signaling in the nervous system depend upon the distribution of such ions on the other side of the nerve membrane. They communicate with one another using two types of electrical signaling. For the first one is a graded potential used for short-distance communication only, and for the second is action potential that allow communication over long distance within the body. An action potential in a muscle fiber is called a muscle action potential, and when an action potential occurs in a neuron or in the nerve cell, it is called a nerve action potential or nerve impulse. And for your information, graded potential, nerve and muscle action potentials are involved in the relay of sensory stimuli integrative function such as perception and motor activities.
So there is 4 types of ion channels. For the first one is lag channels. Lag channels gate channels that randomly open and close. The lag channels allow Na plus and K plus to move across the cell membrane down to the gradients from a high concentration toward a lower concentration. With the combined ion pumping and leakage of ions, the cell can maintain a stable resting membrane potential. Lag channels found in all cells, including dendrites, cell bodies, and axons of all types of neurons. The second one is ligand gate channels. Ligand gate channels is ion channels that open in response to specific ligands molecules binding to the receptor protein. These channels allow ions to flow into or out of the cell in response to the binding of a chemical messenger to their respective receptors. Ligand gate found in dendrites of some sensory neurons, such as pain receptors, and cell bodies of interneurons and motor neurons. Third is mechanically gate channels. Mechanically gate channels open in response to physical deformation of the receptor or response to mechanical stimulus, as in sensory receptors of touch and pressure, vibration, or tissue stretching. These channels is found in dendrites of some sensory neurons, such as touch receptors, pressure receptors, and some pain receptors. And for the last is voltage gate channels. Voltage gate channels participate in the generation and conduction of action potential in the axons of all types of neuron. Gate channel that open in response to voltage stimulus change in membrane potential. These channels is found or located in axons of all types of neurons.
Here we have case about Parkinson's disease. Parkinson's disease is a progressive nervous system disorder that affects movement. Symptoms start gradually, sometimes starting with a barely noticeable tremor in just one hand. Tremors are common, but the disorder also commonly causes stiffness or slowing of movement. It is known that its pathogenesis is closely associated with the dysfunction of potassium channels. The pathogenesis of the second major neurodegenerative disorder, also known as Parkinson's disease or PD, is closely associated with the dysfunction of potassium or K+ channels. Therefore, Parkinson's disease is also considered to be an ion channel disease or neuronal channelopathy. Mounting evidence has shown that K+ channels play crucial roles in the regulation of neurotransmitter release, neuronal excitability, and cell volume. Inhibition of K plus channels enhances the spontaneous varying frequency of negral dopamine or DA neurons, induces a transition from tonic varying to burst discharge, and promotes the release of dopamine in the striatum. Dopamine is a substance that acts as a messenger between two areas of the brain, namely the substantia nigra and the corpus striatum, to produce smooth and controlled movement. Most of the symptoms associated with Parkinson's disease are caused by dopamine deficiency due to loss of dopamine producing cell in the substantia nigra. When the amount of dopamine is too low, communication between the substantia nigra and the corpus striatum will be ineffective. As a result, body movements are disturbed. The more the body loses dopamine, the more severe the symptom of Parkinson's disease suffered by the patient. That's all about our presentation. We are sorry if there are any mistaken and thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.